And I felt like I was, you know, a part of a championship team. Not the MVP, but a definite, you know, integral role. And I just, the priorities weren't exactly in order at the time, you know.
In Wall Street, your father played a very idealistic, blue-collar guy, and eventually he faces you down as you've gone off the track and you're into the fast lane, and you're quickly casting aside every value that he hopes that he's instilled in you. Were you able to play that just actor to actor, or was there at some level at every moment as you looked into his eyes, this is my father talking to me as my screen father?
Yeah, well, I think we were able to play it, but I think the metaphors and the parallels that were existing, you know, based on what the scene was about and what the situation behind the scenes were about, I wasn't hep to. I didn't really see that until, you know, looking back on it. But there's an asset to being able to look into your father's eyes, and he's playing your father, and there's a history there that you can't deny, that you bring to the screen. But I think the detriment can be too familiar, you know. It's too close, too, I don't know, there's too much history there at some times, you know.
But it seems to me, just sitting here for half an hour, that you're a pretty thoughtful guy and you're given to some reflection. So what kind of terms have you come to with your past reputation as a wild liver, as an irresponsible guy? Now, granted, you're only 25 years old, so that stuff happened in your late teens, early 20s, but when you're as famous as you had become by that time, a lot of that information gets out to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's under the microscope, you know. Well, I think I've arrived, or I'm arriving at a good place with that in retrospect. You know, I'm a firm believer in you know, having to appreciate the night, to appreciate the day, you know, and it's almost like a lot of that stuff had to happen for a reason, or I chose to allow it to happen for a reason. But if I dwell on it, I can bury myself, you know. You know, it's a wise man that learns from the mistakes of others, you know. That's kind of where I'm directing myself, you know. So thank God I'm still alive. You know.
You feel lucky to come out, relatively speaking, unscathed? You're still held in high regard. You can get a lot of work. You're 25 years old. You're healthy.
Extremely lucky. Extremely lucky. Yeah. Yeah, and very thankful to God or a higher power, or whatever interpretation you want to give it. Yeah, I've become a lot more spiritual these days, you know.
So you think you've entered, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but do you think you've entered a whole new phase rather than just the thing evolving away from that? Is there a line of demarcation and you can say all that stuff is behind you and now you're into a new phase?
It feels like it, yeah. Yeah, it feels like it. I wasn't thinking about the future that much back then, you know, and I would always give these interviews and talk about longevity and I'm here for the long haul and all that, and then, you know, complete hypocrisy in my actions, you know. Yeah, it feels like I've drawn a line, but I have to remind myself that you know, it's always going to be there to step back over, you know, and that's, I think, that's maturity. That's when you realize that you do have the choice, you know.
Clint Eastwood, Raul Julia, and this man, Charlie Sheen. I enjoyed it. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right.
See you later.